The show is called A 24-Decade History of Popular Music. It is the history of popular music from 1776 to 2016. Music that was popular in the United States, but not necessarily American music. And not necessarily music that was popular throughout the entire country or the mainstream, sometimes just a small little community.
In a performance art concert, you can be disturbed, annoyed, you can hate every single moment, you can hate me, you can just hate the entire experience, and I still will have succeeded. It is the genius of performance art, there is no failure.
The catalyst for it was that when I was 14, 15, I went to the very first AIDS walk in San Francisco. And it was the first time I'd ever seen an out homosexual. And the first time I ever saw them, it was thousands of them all at the same time. So I had this pretty profound experience discovering queer community and discovering queer agency for the first time and queer history for the very first time. There is a history in our nation of queers, and yet I had, in all of my education until I got into college, I'd never once been taught anything about anything queer. I still try to look for the ways that I can authentically fail on stage, and putting myself through a 24-hour concert experience is one of those.
Oh, yes, you are. You're such a pretty girl. Oh, look how pretty you are. Oh my gosh,
It just felt like it would be interesting to find out where the queers were in our American history. There's such a force to discredit that there ever was a queer history. They'll give us Walt Whitman begrudgingly. You know, I grew up in California, so New England is history until you go to Europe. So if you want to do a story about the early days of the U.S., you gotta come to New England. That's all there is to it. Today we went to, it's not the oldest church, but it's the oldest church that's been a church consecutively.
The original meeting house, not this building, which was about 300 yards south of where we're standing, was where the first governor of Vermont was inaugurated.
What I found interesting about that particular trip are the little nuggets that you hear that someone might just say offhandedly. Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the little nuggets that aren't in the high school's history books. Oh, there was a stick in the church with a feather on it and a hammer on the other side. And there'd be a man at the back of the house, and if anyone would fall asleep, he'd put that stick out there and he'd kind of tickle the woman, and if it was a guy, he would kind of knock the guy with the hammer. So of course we're doing a 24-hour concert. I hear that little nugget, I'm like, I'm gonna have somebody with a stick at the back of the house that's waking people up during the 24-hour concert. I mean, that's mad genius, right? And that's the kind of thing you only find out from coming and hanging out with the people and hearing the little stories. It's called the Main Street Museum, and we went there and saw all their little artifacts. It was very exciting. It kind of made me want to live in the museum, you know, I'll just be an artifact, you know, yeah. Why would you not love me? That's what we did today. It was a good day, a lot of fun people. When we perform at Dartmouth, we're going to perform the 1770s through the 1790s, 1776 through 1806. The first decade is just really about the founding of America and what it was actually founded on, as opposed to what they tell us in the books.
I didn't raise my boy to be a soldier. It's time for every boy to be a soldier.
And that's my subjective version of what it actually was founded on. And then in the 1780s, it's a lot of Robert Burns. I'm not sure what our 1790s is going to be. It's something, it might have something to do with the fall of republicanism and the rise of democracy. So that's where we're at.
We should leave, so now you and me can see the present of being here.
This pleasantry's a frontier, surprising and new. The now's quite a coup. I do disavow my fears.